Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Bad Times Good Stories podcast. My name is Joe Flanders, and I hope you are having a lovely, lovely day or night or morning, whatever time you're watching or listening to this. Welcome to Bad Times Good Stories. If you are new to the show, every week I sit down and talk with a guest about a bad or awkward or embarrassing or just straight up shitty time from their life that hopefully they're able to laugh about now. And I'm really excited today to have Steebee on the show. Really funny guy. He's got a popular podcast and talk show called the Steebee Weebee Show. I highly suggest you check it out. He talks with a lot of really interesting people, and it was great to have him on. He is talking about some of his drug-taking days and the trouble it got him in, and really funny, interesting stories, and he's sober now, and as he says, the stories he shared with me are a reason why he is sober now. So congrats to him on being sober. I think he said 9 years. That's great. But yes, so he's talking about shrooms and acid and stealing shrooms and then meeting his comeuppance. Comeuppance? That's a fun word to say. Comeuppance? I think it's comeuppance. I don't know. It's a fun word. And he met his. And it didn't end well for him that day. If you like today's episode, consider giving it a 5-star rating on iTunes so that it just helps us grow the show and book guests and advertisers and all that fun stuff. It would really mean a lot. Plus, I'd love to hear what you think of the show. It's pretty easy. Just tap the 5 stars. And if you are feeling inclined to actually write something, well, that's an option too. Check out badtimesgoodstoriespod.com for past episodes, a link to the cool merch we've got, and a link to our Patreon page so you can support the show for as little as $2 a month, and I'll write you a handwritten thank you note every month until you get sick of that, and then I'll just leave you alone. But it means a lot if you can support the show, if you like what we're doing. If you have a bad time that would make a good story, email it to me at badtimesgoodstoriespodcast@gmail.com. And now, without further ado, here is my awesome conversation with Steebee.
Chatting.
We're chilling. We're
chatting, talking about coffee. What do you normally order coffee-wise?
I've been getting the same drink for a couple years now. Just I go to Starbucks. It's an Americano.
Yeah, so that's just coffee with milk?
No, it's not. It's
Is there a
espresso.
shot?
It's espresso mixed with water. That's all it is.
Oh, so I was completely wrong.
Yeah, you're completely wrong,
Wow,
Joe.
all right,
You're completely
cool.
wrong. And what I do,
a creamy look.
and yeah, the reason why I put half and half in it,
Oh,
Joe.
so
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
But the reason why I add 2 things in it because they have syrups. So I add peppermint mixed with toffee nut, or I might mix it up with peppermint mixed with like the cinnamon dolce.
Ooh.
So there's I like to experiment with different flavors, and seasonally they're gonna get the gingerbread flavor back.
Now that
I'm looking forward to that.
that's a seasonal flavor I could get behind.
Yeah.
I'm
Hell
over the
yeah.
pumpkin spice.
Oh, come on.
I'm not a fan.
I like it all.
You like it all?
Yeah, I'll try it all.
You're just a positive guy, and I respect that. Me, I'm just a grouch.
I wasn't always this way,
No?
and I want to get to that. That's a good segue.
That is a good segue.
I wasn't always a healthy, happy, cheerful guy. There was a time in my life. There was a time in my life. I want to take it back because this is story time, right?
Yeah.
I just want to give you a little background
Please.
information. I'm from a small town in San Diego called Poway.
Okay.
Their district is known for wrestling. So
Okay.
I was groomed from 6th grade on to be the state champ.
Now you're talking about respectable, real wrestling, not WWF.
Not WWF.
Okay, just to be clear.
No. I'm talking about collegiate style wrestling.
Okay,
What they do
yeah.
at,
Sure.
university and
Yeah.
then state college level. Yeah. And in the Olympics.
Right.
But, I didn't want to, I was going to tell you about this story, but I was ranked second in the state my senior year. I choked at the state tournament.
Okay.
Then I turned to drugs and alcohol as my relief because I was in that much pain. Okay.
Well, okay. So this was
didn't
like
wanna-
you had been groomed for
from
years.
from sixth grade
sixth
to
grade
12th
on.
grade, and I was basically robbed of a normal childhood upbringing. You know, when kids were going to the beach boogie boarding, I was like, the coach would be calling, "Are you going to wrestling? There's this wrestling tournament. Yeah, there's a wrestling tournament. Yeah,
Yeah.
So I didn't want to focus. I wanted to focus on the aftermath of that. I was going to focus that entirely because there's a story behind that in itself. But what proceeded after that, I needed at least beer, and then marijuana just to cope with the pain. So proceeding my choking in the state tournament, I didn't know what to do with my life. Well, I'm a senior in high school. I started smoking weed heavily, drinking beer more, and I'm like, what do I do? And I thought the right thing to do, and this is where if I were to go back in time machine, I would change. Is I'm like, I guess I'll apply to colleges now.
Sure.
Even though I didn't know what I wanted to pursue, why would I be going to this college? I thought it was just all these other kids around me they're going to Pepperdine or they're going to New York or the Midwest or
Everyone's
Ohio
talking
State
about
whatever.
Everyone's talking about college.
Yeah, so I'm like, one of the schools that I applied to was Arizona State.
Okay. Yeah.
And to make the long story short, I got accepted.
The Sun Devils.
Sun Devils.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, I know my sports.
You know your stuff.
Yeah, I do.
So I got accepted there, and just that decision alone kind of altered even my mom and dad's life.
Really?
Because they had a clothing, like a retail clothing, women's. That's what they did for work. They owned their own stores.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
pretty
they
cool.
would. Yeah, it was pretty cool. But business wasn't going well. So my dad,
cool.
since I did get accepted, started going to Arizona to scout out locations for a possible store they could open up.
Okay, so they go with you to Arizona?
Too much competition in LA or California.
Sure, yeah, get
or
out of
San
there.
Diego. Yeah,
go
too
out
many
to the
Asians,
desert.
they have their store,
Yeah.
because they all get it at the fashion district, their merchandise around here.
Yes,
So-
they do.
So,
Sorry to interrupt, but did you did you apply? Were you looking for like a wrestling scholarship, or were you done with wrestling?
No.
And after you lost, it was
No.
like never again.
No.
Okay.
No.
I just wanted to be clear.
I mean, no. I
Yeah.
mean, after that moment, I was done.
Yeah.
So I get accepted to Arizona State. This is why, if you're listening, kids, and you're about to go to college, don't room with a person you don't like, a complete stranger.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the movie Higher Learning, but watch that movie.
Yeah.
Michael Rappaport's in it. Have you seen that movie? Okay, watch that movie. You don't want you do single living.
Yeah. Single living or someone.
If I were to, that's another thing I would change. I'd be like, no, I'll take the crappier jail cell sized dorm room opposed to the luxurious room where I have to share this room with another person, some stranger.
Right.
Because the guy that I ended up rooming with was a complete, like, you're a stereotypical, like, douchebag kind of jock douchebag.
Yeah,
I was a jock, but I was at least reasonable. I was a reasonable jock.
Sure, you were a humble jock.
I was a humble
like.
jock, and that the state tournament humbled me.
Yeah,
but this guy was like blonde hair, dude. Like, he was your typical. He's from Newport Beach too.
Yeah,
dude. Oh, dude, I'm gonna join Sigma Nu, dude. Like, he was like already set on a fraternity, like Sigma Nu, dude.
Just kind of a meathead.
Yeah,
or?
just a jock.
Yeah,
just a surfer. No, not even a jock, but like your stereotypical surfer, like privileged. You know the guy, dude. Just said dude a lot. Like, woke up in the morning, had the wake and bake, dude.
Right.
That type of dude, and then he was just. And then he would like be in the like looking at himself way too much in the mirror, like, dude. And then he'd be like, I don't know where he got his suits or he'd always be like dressed for an occasion, like it's prom. Dude, it's some kind of I don't even know what those things are called.
Oh yeah,
it's
like a frat. Like
rush. It's the rush formal, dude.
Yeah, this formal. Yeah, all those formals.
I just could not handle it anymore. I was like, I can't live with this guy. I cannot live with this guy. I cannot live with this guy. And so I went to the student services, which is a place on campus where it deals with residential living.
Sure, yeah.
And I just talked to the lady, and I'm like, listen, I cannot. I'm going to end up we're going to kill each other. I can't live at this dorm. Are there any other options? She goes, oh, yeah, well, on the other side of campus, there's single dormitory living. It's a little smaller. It's cheaper, actually. I go, it's cheaper? She goes, yeah, I mean, you could, check it out. Come back to us and let, because it's not that difficult.
Right.
So on these colleges, it's not, you just go to the place, say, I'm going to end up stabbing this guy or he's going to stab me. Can you please move me to a different dorm? And they're more than, they're more than welcome to do that, to work with you.
Yeah. So just threaten the life of your roommate and you could get out of it.
Yeah, exactly. So I ended up moving to this other place across campus called Ocotillo.
Oh, it sounds like a resort.
It wasn't. It was basically, that's so ironic you said that. It was actually the contrary. Yeah. It was an old, crappy Motel 6, one of those old trucker you see on the side of the road, but they turned it into a dorm.
Spruced it up.
So the rooms were literally the size of, see your kitchen? See like the gray?
Yeah.
I am not kidding you. The dorm room was literally the size of just the gray tile.
So about 8 feet by 10 feet or something.
8 by 10. It was an 8. I'm not kidding.
I believe it. Yeah.
8 by 10. Yeah. This is what you had.
Yeah.
This is all you had. Oh. And so, and then the bathroom, you would have to share. Another guy would have another 8 by 10, but you didn't have to see him ever.
Oh, yeah.
Just whenever he would have to take a crap or shower, we'd come up with the system. 1, 2. Was a shower. 3, 1, 2, 3 was a shit.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So, did you have to work out a system after some awkward exchanges? Did you walk in on him?
There was probably one time I came in kind of half naked and he was about to shower at the same time. And I'm like, wait a minute, let's, I only had to deal with him probably once the whole time I was there. But anyway, and then another aspect I didn't even bring up is just how alienated I felt being on just a huge campus university, or a state university. Yeah. Where it's just just flocks of all these people that come from, they have their own backgrounds.
Sure, from all over the place.
You know what I felt? I felt like it was, in high school, there was the jocks hung out at this, and then the African Americans hung out here, and then the surfers hung out here, and the skaters and punks hung out here. Yeah, and it was that, but on a grander scale. Right. That's why I didn't like that whole, nothing against the fraternity or the Greek living, but I just was not feeling that.
Oh yeah, it's just weird.
Because already the first week of campus, they're letting you know we're the cool rich people, and if you want to be a part of it, you're gonna have to have money and look a certain way. Right. I mean, no kidding. Yeah. There was a lot of even sororities they were all blonde. It was it's
alarming. What? It's just weird. You're is this the Stepford wine? Where am I?
It rubbed me the wrong way. I'm not an advocate for that. No. I believe in individualism and freedom in that. And,
of course.
Being an individual. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't. I see why they do it for networking reasons at the end of the day, but I'm not a fan.
Sure. Yeah.
So let me get to the story. So with that aspect, I met kind of my group of people. I met people actually I like them. I met artists or dudes that did art, and then I met this kid that he was in. I'm in a rap. Yeah. This is the 90s, so I was really into golden era, and I still am like Far Side and Biggie, Tribe Called Quest, and Mobb Deep. This kid, there's a group. Have you heard of Black Moon? There's a group called Black Moon from New York. He looked like Buckshot Shorty from Black Moon. So look that up. And his name was Kendall, and he was cool. We had that bond.
Right, with a rap bond.
He liked this rap group. I like this rap group. Even though it happened to be from the East Coast, I love East Coast rap as well. Just as well. Yeah. Wu-Tang and Mobb Deep and Biggie and all that. Big L and all that stuff. Grave-Diggers and all that stuff. So we had that in common, and we both like smoking weed.
Sure. That's enough for a college friendship.
Yeah. So what ended up happening with him is I was not one of these rich, privileged kids, and so since my dad lived there, I don't know why why I was desperate for one. I tried some college jobs, but I didn't. I think I only applied to one. I ended up working part-time at the library as like on lugging like a book cart.
Oh, the push cart, like putting books back.
Yeah, doing that in the basement portion of the library.
Nice.
But that didn't do it. So I'm like, my dad's like, Barrow's Pizza. I get you a job at Barrow's Pizza. Barrow's Pizza. Okay, so Barrow's Pizza was the premier pizza place. They're still around in Arizona.
I like that your dad sounds like a phantom, by the way.
I'm sorry, that's a horrible... Barrow's Pizza. Eat job. I get it for you. He doesn't sound like that. I'm just doing I'm trying my best.
I know. Yeah,
Joe, I'm trying my best.
It abuses me.
He met this guy on the golf course.
Sure,
And this guy owned all the Barrow's Pizzas.
Yeah.
And his sons ran all the Barrow's Pizzas.
Yeah.
And I could possibly work in the kitchen at a Barrow's Pizza. And there happened to be a Barrow's Pizza right near campus.
Sure. Yeah.
So I was working at Barrow's Pizza. And so through that, I mean, I even worked during the winter break there.
Okay. Were you making pizzas?
I
or
was
cleaning?
literally, and I had and this is so ironic, I had I've gotten fights in the kitchen at Barrow's Pizza. Because lo and behold, you would think that it would end there, like, oh, I'm not around the fraternity vibe.
Right.
There's a fraternity within the pizza place of like dropout jock dude. Like he was the premier guy. He was a quarterback.
Yeah.
In high school.
In high school.
At the high school around that area. And now he works at Barrow's Pizza.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, they're pinching my butt.
Oh, my
While I'm
God.
making their pizzas to deliver. Like, get that going, Wing Chun.
Oh, God.
Chung Lee.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, don't touch me, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm like wrestling them
Yeah.
in this
In the kitchen?
in a kitchen sized. It wasn't normal Barrow's. It was
Sure.
like the college, just the little
Yeah.
the outhouse version of a Barrow's, just to, to deliver pizzas to the dorms around there.
Sure. Yeah.
So I was doing that, and then but during winter break, so where I worked, Ocotillo. I'll get to the story. I'm sorry. There's a lot of build up.
Yeah.
That was the only dorm that was open during, or one of them. That and Saguaro were the only dorms. Usually, kids went back home to like, oh, I'm gonna fly back to New Jersey or, whatever to see, people that go back home.
Right.
But like, I would be like, I didn't even go because my parents lived in Gilbert. They still do. I just decided to stay at the dorm.
Yeah. On campus.
for the whole month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and work.
Yeah. Making pizzas.
And so did Kendall. So did Kendall, my friend. The guy,
Yeah,
the kid. He was a talented rapper, by the way. So
Nice.
he had that East Coast style. But so I was still working at Barrow's, and then I forgot the guy's name. He was actually cool. This guy, I think his name was Lane or something like that.
Yeah.
I forgot his name, but he was actually cool with me.
Yeah.
I liked him. He was like really mellow. He was friends with the other drivers at Barrow's, but he was actually he was a nice guy.
Was he also in school, or was he just kind of a townie?
He was just a driver at Barrow's Pizza.
yeah,
He was a
okay.
dropout himself.
Yeah.
No, none of the guys that worked there were going to Arizona State.
Except
I was
for you.
probably the only one.
Yeah.
He mentioned he was getting a shipment of LSD.
Oh.
And I just mentioned it in passing to Kendall when I came back from one of my shifts. I go, dude, this guy, he's getting acid. And we had a whole month to burn. Because, there's, I was only working certain shifts. I mean, I had 2 or 3 days off a week.
Oh, for sure.
And
Campus is dead, probably.
I would just, goof around at the dorm,
Yeah. Yeah.
So he was like, hey, Don, get that, Don. Get that.
Yeah.
I'll give you, word? Get that.
Yeah.
Get that, Don. Get that. So I'm like,
I'm going to get that.
yeah, I'll get it for you.
Yeah.
How many do you want me to get? Yeah. He was just giving me a couple $5 bills. I must have got 5 to 6 blotters.
Okay. Well, what's a blotter?
A blotter is
Like a hit or more than a hit?
It's,
okay. Oh, okay. So
they
it's like
can't see it, or the people who watch, that's a blotter.
Okay, yeah. So it's like the thing you put on your finger. And
Yeah,
then,
it's a tiny square. That's a blotter.
Okay.
Of LSD.
All right.
And they drop the LSD on this little paper.
Right.
And some of them have like a smiley face. Some of them look like a prism. There's different designs on it. So I got 5 or 6 of those. I was off. I planned it out. I was like, okay, I'm doing it this day when I'm off, not working at Barrow's.
Now, had you done it before?
I dabbled in it, but it was a while. It's been a while. I did it maybe once in high school at the beach in high school, but I was at the beach.
Okay.
I was at the beach in La Jolla. Where, we drove down there from Poway, and
it was a whole.
We just sat on the beach.
Just sat there and did it. Yeah.
And I'll get to that.
Sure.
Being in nature opposed to being in a confined space.
Yes.
There's a difference.
Okay.
There's a huge difference.
Okay.
Because that's when the demonic stuff happens.
Sure.
At least for me, the demonic, hypnotic, weird things happen. So, at least in my experience, not for everyone, but I had a dark experience. So I'll get to that. So, I'm in my dorm room. I was rooming with Kendall at the time.
Okay.
We got it to where we had single rooms, and we're like, we should live together, Don. Where? We'll record an album. He wanted to record an album. We had no gear. We'll record an album, Don. You could rap. Because I was dabbling in it. I wasn't that great. I was kind of dabbling in it.
Sure.
But I was like, okay, we're dropping acid this day. So back there, I don't know. 7-Elevens are out here, right?
Oh yeah, everywhere out here.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
But in Arizona, there's Circle K's. Have you heard of Circle K?
Yeah. In Ohio, there's no 7-Elevens. It's all Circle K.
Okay, so
it's actually United Dairy Farmers.
Okay,
which is the most Midwestern sounding name of a 7-Eleven type place.
So people outside of California, Circle K is basically your 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
So I went to Circle K before we tripped. It was around this time.
Yeah.
It's around this time. So it's what time is it now? It's around 3:00. It's 2:48 p.m. We walk over there. I wanted to get my supplies, which is back then I smoked cigarettes.
Okay.
I was smoking heavily in college.
Yeah, me
I
too.
started in college.
Yeah,
Just
me too.
by bumming cigarettes in front of the dorm.
Yep.
And so I ended up smoking Newports.
Sure.
Which is
the
the
rap,
East, which is the East Coast.
Yeah, East Coast rap.
I did that because I met a guy from New Jersey who smoked Newports.
Yeah.
And he drank Old English 800s. And I wanted to do exactly because he looked so cool. Because
Right.
he had the best Pumas at that dorm. And he had the best gear. So I'm like, I want to be like that guy. He dresses like Cypress Hill and he looks cool. He looks like Robert De Niro, a younger version of Robert De Niro with the slick back hair.
Yeah.
I want to be like him. But
Taxi driver Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
But a little less psychotic.
Robert De Niro in high school.
Oh, okay.
With the slick back hair.
Yeah.
I want to be like him. But
Yeah.
anyway, so I ended up getting orange juice, Sunny Delight, close enough. Sunny Delight, Newports, and Skittles candy.
Nice. I like Sunny Delight is just orange juice without the nutrition.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically fructose.
Yeah. I love that they were like, orange juice is slightly healthy. Let's just make it not healthy.
Yeah.
That's Sunny Delight.
It's good enough
delicious.
for me. It's good enough for me.
Oh, it's delicious.
And it fit perfectly in my little dorm room
There you
college
go.
fridge.
Oh, yeah.
So we get back to the dorm, and I put let's say put the bladder. Mm-hmm. You gonna do it? You do it. We do it at the same time. Yeah. And then I did it.
Yeah.
It's on. And so, to be honest with you, acid doesn't really kick in right away. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour, I believe. So I'm in there, and we don't have much in our dorm room. It's basically a smaller version of this. Well, because our room was a little bit bigger than the jail cell room I was
moving on up.
previously living in.
Right.
So we're both into music, and have you heard of Portishead? She's a singer. You've heard of Portishead? Well, she's a singer, and there's really kind of heavy drum and bass, slower drum bass beats, and she sings like that. Why? It's kind of cryptic.
Sounds perfect for.
I'm sorry,
for
I'm
LSD.
giving Beth Gibbons a horrible rap. She sounds better than that, but it was her first album, Dummy. Portishead Dummy.
Okay.
And he, for some reason, this guy wasn't a rap, but he liked the beat on this particular song. And I had a boombox back then. This was in the 90s. I had a mini, it was a boombox. It was a CD player with a tape deck player.
I may have had the same
And
one.
I had stickers on it.
Yep.
And so we had, it's a song called Strangers. Portishead Strangers on loop, just the same song.
Yeah.
Doom, boom, doom, boom, 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 boom. It had that beat.
Yeah.
So that was more. I was more accurate as far as
there you
portraying
go.
the beat.
Sure.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And it had this high pitched. It sounded like a screeching door at the beginning of the song. It was like it's kind of fitting for Halloween,
Right,
If you want to, So we had that song on repeat, and I was kind of starting to feel the LSD, but I had to take a crap. I had a shit.
Sure.
Sorry, could I curse?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had to take a shit.
Yeah.
Because I was on an empty stomach. And I kept, I was drinking Sunny Delight.
Empty stomach, Sunny Delight,
So,
LSD.
but I could still hear the music faintly.
Sure.
At least the beat. So now I'm in the door. I'm in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to the music in the other room. And so I'm not really thinking about anything. I'm just like shitting and
Sure.
but I'm looking at the floor and the patterns, the ground, to explain it, is they look like little pebble patterns.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been, they've probably in a lot of office buildings, maybe at a bank or something. But those started breaking apart and like moving like these little rock pebble patterns. And they started moving. Like it kind of like geometric patterns almost. Breaking apart, and I'm like, and that's when it dawned on me, Joe. I was like, I'm starting to trip now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you had that realization.
So that started happening. The pieces started moving.
Yeah. You're like, oh.
And then I'm like, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if it's the music. I think the music allowed me to like really. It had something to do with it.
Yeah.
Where it kind of like added to it.
Oh yeah.
It was like
music does that.
boom. It really did.
You're on drugs.
Boom, 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 boom.
So the floor is moving with the music.
Yeah, I follow it to the wall now. So I'm looking at the ground, and then I'm following it to the wall.
Okay.
And then that's when all hell broke loose. I saw dead people
Oh boy.
in the wall, and it was, like the Matrix, the title. It's like neon green.
Yeah.
It was that. So it was whitish, cloudish, greenish, neon greenish, fluorescent, and it was like an invisible kind of window, and because I could see they're like melting like this, and their hands like this.
So like Indiana Jones style, their faces are melting.
Kind of like
So
it was ghoulish, kind of like ghoulish.
Oh, ghoulish.
Greenish,
Okay.
But they were human.
Okay.
And
Clearly human.
There was like a little girl. There was a middle-aged man. There was a teen. They were all over there, and they looked at me like this, like you could see me, and I'm like, it was probably one of the scariest things I've ever seen.
Did you recognize any of these dead people?
No.
Okay.
I didn't recognize them. They
strangers.
they were more skeletal. So they were human, but they were more skeletal structured.
Yeah.
You know
their
what I'm
faces are
saying?
melting. Yeah.
But I did see their hands like.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah, it was.
While
terrifying.
you're taking a shit.
Have you seen Superman 2?
Oh, of course.
Remember
Wait.
when the three villains are stuck in the
in the glass thing?
In the glass thing.
That's my favorite Superman.
Yeah, I love it.
That's the best.
It's the
that
best.
sounds terrifying though.
So think of Superman 2, but it was a bigger surface area.
Right.
And there was more people in the Superman 2 glass.
So they were trapped in the glass, not you.
They were trapped in some kind of. That's why I'm into conspiracy theories and David Icke and David Wilcock. I'm into all that stuff because I experienced this personally.
Right.
Because I believe that it's like metaphysical stuff.
Sure.
I believe that there's several dimensions within the.
Yeah.
There's dimensions on top of other dimensions. So that's what I believe, and I still believe that I saw that day where. It was, I don't know if there's other names for the lower astral, the purgatory dimension, fourth dimensional stuff. It was that closest to our dimension.
Yeah.
But more of a purgatory where they're caught in between. They're stuck there or something.
God, what a terrible place for them to be stuck too.
I know.
In the bathroom?
At Ocotillo Dorm.
In the dorm? Like, what did they do to get stuck there?
I don't know,
Those
Joe.
poor bastards.
I have no idea, Joe. But
they just have to watch everyone taking a shit?
yeah, but
they were there.
I was captivated, to say the least. Yeah. And I must have been in there for longer than 10 minutes at this point.
I would imagine.
All the poo was out. I was just literally there just
sitting?
Just
captivated.
And then before you know it, so after the 10-minute mark, I hear,
yeah.
Yo, Don, you good? You good, Don? What's up, Don? You good?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, just 1 minute, dude. 1 minute. You can't do that. And so I decided, I just said, you know what? I have to let this guy know what's going on. How are we good on sound? Are you guys capturing?
Yeah.
And so I opened the door briefly, And I must have looked terrified. And I go, and this is something you don't do if you're having a bad, because I would coin it now as a bad trip now. Wouldn't you say? It was okay.
I would think so.
Now it's a bad trip.
Yeah, it started off harmless enough with moving pebbles on the floor.
So whenever you're having a bad trip, don't bring the other person that might be having a good trip down on your level.
Yeah, you're bringing them down with
Joe?
you. Okay,
you don't do that.
Good to know. I will not.
So, but I did the contrary.
Oh.
I told him this is what, you know what I told him?
What?
I go, there's demons in there, dude. I told him there's demons in there.
Oh boy. Are you crying?
No, I was scared.
Yeah, I bet.
I wasn't crying. I was scared.
Okay.
Like I just seen a ghost, which I basically have. I saw several ghosts in there. So I made him go into the bathroom because during that time period I thought maybe I would he would see him too, but he's going through his own trip.
Right. Who knows?
But in my mind at the time, like, you have to see it for yourself.
Right.
You go in there.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it ruined. He didn't see what I saw.
Yeah.
And two, it definitely shifted his trip.
Yeah.
To the negative also. So we end up leaving. Obviously, I don't want to see that.
No.
I'm like, all right, let's
neither
go
of you
out
want to
here,
hang out in the bathroom.
and then let's start. And then I don't know why we started doing that, but I needed a cigarette.
Yeah.
Obviously, you would probably need a cigarette too. So I smoked a cigarette. We ended up like just kind of forgetting that happened. I don't know why, but we ended up like, because we're still listening to the doom.
Right. Well, because you're still tripping, right?
Yeah, I'm still tripping. Doom,
yeah.
doom, doom. And so we started like kind of like dancing or trying to break dance. I don't know how to do it.
God only knows what it looked like.
I was trying to. I was trying. But I remember we're trying to do that. We're just trying to get our mind, that's nothing. But I remember while we're doing this, like on the sides of the dorm room, I saw like electricity, like, you know.
Oh,
like we're harnessing this kind of like not saying we're Nicholas Tesla or by, but I thought I was harnessing this
in your head. You were
electricity in my head. I'm like, yes, we're not in the bathroom anymore. What ended up happening after that was bizarre because I needed water. I was over the sunny delight. I needed actual water.
Nutrients,
water. We didn't have any water. I didn't want to drink. For some reason, I would drink the tap water, but there was colder tap water there's a drinking fountain outside of Ocotillo. Ocotillo, like I said, was an outdoor. It wasn't like your typical dorm. It was outside. You could walk from the street right to your room. There's no hallways.
Okay.
It was like literally like an old motel.
Yeah, like an RV.
Yeah, like a motel,
home.
like a Motel 6 or like a Travelodge turned into.
Right. Yeah.
But so I'm like, okay, I know that the drinking fountain's outside, so I'm gonna go there. I needed the air anyway.
Yeah.
I needed a little from that dorm room. There was the energy in there.
A lot of stuff going on in there.
A lot of stuff. So I remember, I'm like, okay, Kendall stayed behind. He's like, I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna just chill.
Do his own thing.
All right, I'm gonna do my thing. So I go to the drinking fountain, and on the way there, I told you our dorm was closed. There was literally only maybe 3 other people staying at that dorm, and we didn't see them once. They're probably, because the rooms are out, they're doing
something.
It was basically like a ghost dormitory.
Yeah.
Like but the custodian janitor guy was there, who was a remnant. He kind of looked like Morgan Freeman, older, like Morgan Freeman, like Shawshank Redemption.
Okay,
but with and
kind of a youthful old look.
Yeah,
somehow.
older, but like wise.
Well, yeah, there we go.
He was wise too. I'll tell you why.
Wise janitor, nice.
Wise.
Yes,
like Mr. Miyagi, wise, like the janitor, but he had some wisdom.
God, I wish I could have met somebody like that in my life.
Exactly. Yeah. So so I'm walking back. I get my I get hydrated from the cold drinking fountain, and I walk back past. There was an outside pool there, back to our dorm room, and he was sitting outside of the main office, which was closed, but he was like, just sitting out there, and then he saw me, and I don't know. He probably knew I was on drugs, but he goes,
I'm sure.
He said something, them drugs will mess you up, boy. He said something like that, and then I just acted like I didn't see him. I was like,
well, maybe he's talking to somebody else.
Drugs will mess you up, boy. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And then I go back to our dorm room, and at this moment, he locked the door. And then I knocked.
Kendall did?
Yeah, I knocked, and then when he answered it, I'm not kidding you, he looked like demonically possessed. His one eye was like this, twitching, you know.
Yeah.
I was like, where were you, man? You know, and I was like, whoa. And he ended up doing the weirdest thing. I don't know why. We had a Bible in the room.
Okay.
Because I must have had a Bible. I used to go to Bible study in high school.
Well, you said it was like a Motel 6. They have a Bible in every room.
Oh no, it was not a Motel 6. It was they turn it into dorms, but I understand, like they have a Gideon's Bible and everything. Right, yeah. But I had a Bible. He started reading like passages out the Bible.
Okay.
And stuff, and because I forgot to tell you this. I threw up. I threw up in the trash can in the dorm.
Aren't drugs great?
Yeah, so I was throwing up, and then he was actually holding, like he was trying to calm me down.
Yeah.
And like he was like reading Bible passages and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it was a weird day.
All right. Some use the night moon to calm people down. Others use, Bible verses. Probably the damnation in hell.
Yeah. For some reason, he ended up fleeing the dorm room after, like, during all of that stuff. He needed to get some air.
Yeah.
Make the long story short, he ended up going on campus, which was not a good idea. Even though they were in the state college, ASU, they were in break. Winter break. Yeah. There were still things going on. You could go to the student rec center. There was buses that would drop,
activities were occurring.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He ended up going on to a campus bus, like God. That they go on the outskirts.
Right, yeah,
students. He ended up going on one of those and grabbing a girl's arm. For some reason.
Okay.
They called that, the bus driver called that, the ASU bus driver called that in. And he fled.
Oh, God.
He fled to the student rec center, which is like their 24-hour fitness. Accessible to college students.
Sure. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He ended up getting pepper sprayed by 5 campus police and put on like those stretcher boards.
Yeah.
Have you seen Silence of the Lambs? Yeah. Like one of those Hannibal Lecter. Chris? One of those things. So, but during all of this, when this was going on, I didn't know any of this was going on.
Sure, yeah.
So I'm like, before you know it, started getting darker. And I kept looking like a paranoid schizophrenic out there.
And of course, there's no cell phone to call him.
There's no cells back then. This was in 1995 or something.
Yeah.
And so I remember doing this, like he's not coming, and I'm like, I'm just gonna I'm gonna smoke another cigarette and just lay on my back. In my dorm, he'll be fine. He'll come back eventually. Yeah. He'll come around. He probably went somewhere. And so I ended up laying on my back just to chill.
Yeah.
And it's not like this ceiling, but it was in that dorm room. It was like this, but it looked like the mountain. It was like
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Granulated.
Yeah, it's like that texture.
Granulated white texture of a ceiling.
Mm-hmm. I know what you're talking about.
They look like little rocks glued together everywhere.
Right.
And so it was like that, and I was looking, and lo and behold, guess what appeared?
Oh no, not those people again.
It was the dead people, but now they're looking down at me.
Oh, down at you. That sounds even worse.
It was, because it covered a more of a surface area. So imagine from just looking at him on just this wall.
Yeah.
Just from here to point A to point B to the whole ceiling. So now, and then it turned, lo and behold, it turned Matrix neon green, and then they were everywhere. There is an artist, I don't know if you want to look her up after. She's a female artist named Lori Lipton.
Okay.
And she best captures it in one of her paintings, where it's exactly like the vibe that I saw.
Yeah.
It's these two. She does black and white. It's all by pencil. She's very good.
Yeah.
It's all by pencil, but it's a couple eating in a room, and then there's ghosts, like dead people around them in the floor, in the ceiling, in the wall.
That's cool.
So if you want to look that up, she's a great artist. She's a little older. I think she's L.A. based now, but she goes by Lori Lipton.
Okay.
She's
I'll definitely
she's a
look
great
that up.
artist, visual artist, amazing.
Yeah.
She
Better to look at it, not experience it.
yeah. So that,
that case.
basically describe whatever she must know something too.
Apparently.
But because she basically just captured it so well,
Yeah.
what I experienced personally during that scary day on campus during winter break. But I ended up I saw that and I'm like, oh God, I know it was that vibe of, oh my God, you could see us? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There was more to just
Right. They're
the
watching
presentation of them.
Right.
It was more like the energy of, you could actually see us. Have you seen They Live?
Yeah.
That movie They Live?
Yeah.
John Carpenter?
Right.
He knows a little bit something of the stuff we're talking
Oh,
about.
most definitely.
John Carpenter, Lawnmower Man. Mm-hmm. I mean, because look what's happening with AI and the Oculus, right?
Oh, most
Remember
certainly.
back then?
Yeah.
Lawnmower Man? And it's happening now?
Yes.
Okay.
Very much so.
So I'm saying that was another thing that stood out to me is there was more than the presentation. It was they were trying to telepathically tell me something like, I can't believe you see us and you
Right.
recognize us.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to look at the ceiling anymore.
Sure.
So do you remember Tower Records?
Oh, yeah.
So there was a Tower Records by campus.
Nice.
And he actually grew up with Kendall from they're both from New York. They're East Coast guys. Ken was like a bigger Japanese dude. He was a DJ. He was into hip hop. He was a responsible student.
Right.
He actually
Okay.
had a job
Yeah.
at Tower Records. He didn't mess with drugs like we were, So I skateboarded there. I didn't know where to go. I was petrified. I'm like, where's Kendall? I don't know what's going on.
What time is it now, you think? Is
It's
it
around
dark?
8.
Okay, so it's 8.
7:38.
7:38? All right. So
Yeah.
it's been like 4 hours and you're still... It's been like 4 hours since you started, right?
And Kendall obviously was already in
Yeah.
jail.
Yeah, because he ran
was in
into
jail.
fucking campus... There's nothing worse than campus police because they have nothing to
They're
do.
the worst.
They have nothing to do, so they just overreact.
They're the worst.
I went to art school,
Oh,
a 1,500 person campus.
they're bad.
And they had riot gear. And I was at a 1,500 person art school.
They're
They
waiting.
have
They're-
nothing to do.
They're like, you just spit?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you're
Yep,
writing you up?
writing you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that bad.
And I apologize to the campus security contingent that listens to this podcast.
I'm not.
However,
Because I'm not planning on visiting a university or a campus of any sort anytime soon.
yeah, neither do I.
I did because my girlfriend is a alumni of USC.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. I happened to be there while they're having their mountain bike training day.
Yeah.
Like they were like the task force, like they were the
Yeah.
SWAT team.
Yeah.
All right, guys. And they're like on their mountain bikes with those stupid little hats,
Right.
helmets.
Yeah.
I'm like, let me get it.
I gotta get
I
out of here.
am not an advocate of any kind of
No.
camp. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It's
yeah.
like I will get that if you invite me back. I have stories about campus. Please.
Sure, okay.
My own personal stories, being a
all right.
skateboarder also.
Oh,
on
sure.
Campus.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I ended up skateboarding. Didn't want to get off topic. I skated to Tower Records to go see Ken. I didn't know where to go.
Right.
And so he just told me. I walked in there and he took a good look at me and he goes, "You can't be going here, dude. That's my job. You got to get off those drugs, man.
Oh,
Get out of here,
You look
dude."
like
Yeah, I must have.
everyone that's...
I must have been like, you know where Kendall is?
Because between the janitor and your friend,
Oh my God.
clear as day, they're like, Jesus, get off the drugs.
Yeah. So,
Okay, so
to
he's
make a
telling you
long
that.
story short, so I ended up skating back, and then like a day went by. Then I found out he got out of jail, and that night, because Kendall was on his shift at Tower Records, I ended up calling this girl Jennifer. I forgot her last name. She was a mutual friend. She ended up picking me up in her red car and taking me to off-campus coffee house, a coffee
Just like
house,
sober
and
up.
then I ended up sobering up.
Drinking a lot of coffee or no?
No, I was just scared, and I was just kind of maybe sitting in the. I vaguely remember it. I just remember
Sure.
I sobered up eventually.
Yeah.
I was seeing kind of like the prison, like the occasional prison bursts of twinkles, you know,
Oh, yeah. All right.
in my periphery. But that was story number one.
Okay.
Of with Kendall and on being on the campus of ASU,
Okay.
messing with drugs, specifically LSD.
Yeah, it sounds like a pretty brutal night and day.
It was metaphysical.
Yeah.
It was scary. It had to do with the supernatural. Not even the supernatural, just other dimensions.
Yeah.
And that's why to this day I'm actually, I know this might sound like, what? You're glad you went through that? But I'm kind of glad that, I mean, it was,
Yeah.
I wish it was a little bit more mild than that, but
Sure.
I'm glad that I saw that dimension.
Well, that's true because if you're, yeah, all right.
Because I'm like an advocate. I do believe in like metaphysics, and the just knowing that there are dimensions upon other dimensions beyond our senses.
Right.
Because like if you look at the spectrum of light, there's, you know what I'm saying? There's stuff beyond that.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where ghosts are. Just beyond your sight.
reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
They're close. You know, it's kind of like a radio. You know, I've gotten this from David Icke. You know, people are like, you got that from David Icke, dude. But it's true. I did get it from David Icke, but it makes the most sense to me. It's like, you know, radio frequencies, radio stations.
Yeah.
They're similar, 94.4, 94.5. You know, they're close in proximity.
Yeah.
So we are on one, let's say we're on 94.5, and then 94.6 is like maybe the fourth dimension where I saw.
Yeah.
And so, but the LSD allowed me to kind of merge
Yeah.
our radio. Like because we're on a certain radio signal, us humans.
Yeah.
This is what we see. This is what we see. But it allowed me, doing the LSD allowed me, the other radio station, to merge more, infuse into
Right.
our signal.
You got the static in there, you know, where
Yeah.
it's not quite one or the
That's
other.
exactly what
yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
And
you
for-
were in the static
For
my friend.
that brief moment, it allowed me to see that, and
Yeah.
I'm glad now, in hindsight, that I did kind of experience that, you know,
Okay.
because
So maybe it wasn't quite as brutal.
because it allowed me to like look at not only life, it just allowed me to look at where we live differently. You know,
Sure.
it's not like so like cut and dry. There's more to it than we possibly could imagine. You know.
Yeah, there is, which is why I just don't imagine it. I'm somebody who, like, instantly when anyone start talking about space or anything, I just instantly shut down because it just makes me realize that everything's meaningless.
Joe, I respect that. I really do.
It's not that I don't have respect for anybody who does.
Yeah, no,
it's just
no.
for me, I instantly just am like, I don't want to think about the space or whatever.
Dude,
I've got enough shitty things
I
happening
know,
in my own life.
It's hard enough just to get through one lifespan, like on like,
Yeah.
you know, just under the Earth's conditions,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Just watching
Poverty.
Interstellar was exhausting.
Yeah, famine. Yeah, exactly. I get it.
Poor guy. He's got like five different layers to go through.
I get it. And I'm not judging you. I get that.
And what's funny is I don't think you're wrong. It's
Hey,
not like I think you're right, but I just don't even think about it.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, exactly.
I have one more. I don't know how much time we have.
Yeah, what do you got?
But I have another Kendall
sure.
story, ASU campus. This one has to do with hallucinogenics, but mushrooms.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you call it? Is it called psilocybin? Psilocybin shrooms. And it has to do with theft.
Okay.
And there has to do with karma.
Okay.
Karma's involved.
These are some good universal themes. A tale of theft, karma, and shrooms.
So you would think, Joe, that I would have learned from that LSD experience, at least to kind of taper off from doing something like that.
I would have
Wouldn't you
hoped.
say?
I would have hoped.
And then I'm not even mentioning that I'm in college.
Yeah.
How do you go to class? I'm
Yeah,
supposed to be going to
when are you going to
class.
class?
I'm supposed to be going to class.
I don't know if this Kindle is a good influence on you.
Really?
Or you on him.
What happened to the midterm papers and all that?
Yeah.
And study groups.
No.
None of that is going on in my world.
No Rush socials for you.
Yeah,
just
there's no
copious
getting
amount
on
of
the
drugs.
There's no getting on the dean's list. Okay.
Dean shitless, maybe.
So exactly.
Yeah.
So Kendall met some kid who had, psilocybin shrooms, but he lived in a different dorm.
Okay.
He's like,
now, sorry.
Yeah.
How much time has passed since your last story?
Is this
like a week later? A week
no,
later?
no, it's been. It was a couple months. It was months later.
So the same school year, though.
Same. That's actually a good question. It might have been a different, even the following school year, because I remember I went back to that dorm.
Yeah.
I didn't even try to get an off-campus. Get my own apartment like this. You know, I'm like, I'll just go back to that crappy dorm where I saw the dead people.
I'll check in with them.
I'll just go to a different room. Okay, so no, that's a good question. So I don't know. It's all foggy, but it was somewhere either the following school year or like the end of that. But it was somewhere where I was. I know I was living in. No, it was a different. No. It was maybe that school year, but it was in a different dorm. So I don't know. So let me correct myself. I don't know if it was that school year, but I remember I got kicked out or I moved to a different dorm or something happened, or it might, you know what? It was before I moved into Ocotillo, because I was living at Saguaro in a great situation, and Kendall coerced me to move in with him at Ocotillo. So that's a good question. So it was before the LSD experience, and I didn't. And then you would be like, and you didn't learn from this story.
This story, okay. Yeah. This is okay. So we got the ending. Now we're going backwards.
But now we're going backwards to the
LSD
prequel to the LSD stories. But
we're going Memento style
but
here.
Kendall's involved.
But Kendall's involved. Okay. All right.
So, he met some kid on campus who had psilocybin shrooms.
Okay.
But he lived across campus, in a different area. Like, there's campuses spread out throughout.
Yeah, was there like 40,000
There was the north
students?
side, there was the south side, there was the east side, there was dorms, in different sectors or whatever. He lived in, this kid lived in a place called Choya.
Okay.
Which was... it was nicer. It was like more kind of like Ocotillo where it was outside, but there was like 5 levels and there was an elevator in this one.
Oh,
so it was outside, but then like you go outside and then it would lead to like a hallway where there's maybe 3 rooms on this side, 3 rooms on that side.
Yeah.
So it was in between Manzanita, Ocotillo. It was a little bit nicer than Ocotillo. Okay. And then there was an elevator there. But we ended up, he was like, hey, Don, we're going to go over to his dorm. You down? Let's just check it out. I was like, all right, okay, let's go check it out.
Yeah.
And so we ended up getting to this kid's dorm room. He was either on the 4th or 5th level. I remember we had to take an elevator up there.
Okay.
And then I also remember he didn't have any roommates. And he was a white kid. This kid, he was your stereotypical, every campus has one. He had the long hair, the Grateful Dead shirt.
Yep.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
He was that guy.
Yeah.
Nice. He had the long hair, Grateful Dead.
Did he rock a flannel?
No, he had a Grateful, like the tie-dye.
Oh, right.
Tie-dye was involved.
Oh, yeah. I get the T-shirt tie-dye. I know the look.
Yeah, so it was that guy.
But I didn't know if he was, threw in a little pinch of grunge, too.
Nice as could be. Just
sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
He just
tie-dyes can be nice.
He just happened to sell drugs.
Yeah.
That's the only difference. He sold drugs.
You made pizza.
Yeah.
He sold drugs.
I was at Barrow's. He sold drugs. Yeah. And he actually made easier, faster money.
Oh, I'm quite sure of it. Yeah. No, the risks were slightly higher.
But he was getting a lot more. He was quadrupling what I was making.
Yes. Yeah.
Which there's repercussions to selling drugs. And so we get there. So he had it was kind of like, imagine if this was his dorm room and this was his living room area, but then he also had he had the other section where his bed was.
So he had the real studio.
And his desk,
Right.
Which was like he had to go actually walk back there. But he was like, we were in this room where the couch was and the coffee table was. And he goes, hey, okay, so what are you guys looking to get? And we're like, well, we don't know, either an eighth or a quarter. He's like, okay, well, let me grab it. And so he always, the common thing, he goes to the back room every time.
Right.
So he goes to the back room, but then he brings, like Tupperware where you hold food.
Yeah.
But there's different compartments of these Tupperwares within the big overall Tupperware.
Yeah, we're talking about legit Tupperware.
Yeah, Tupperware where there's
this is the good stuff.
within. So he had this big Tupperware thing where you would hold raisins or nuts or something, but it was filled with just different types of shrooms, mushrooms, and it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. So he goes, okay, so this one is, he was explaining, this one is more purple. It's more purplish. And this is he was explaining all this stuff.
Sure.
And I was like, and then Kendall kept, Kendall's energy was weird, by the way.
Yeah.
He was
just
didn't
in
say
general?
much. Yeah. It was like he was just like, like just kind of like.
Just kind of scoping everything out.
Yeah, just looking around, not saying much. And he was like, looking at me and just like unsettling, a little bit unsettling.
Sure.
I like communication.
That's good.
Let's talk it out.
Exactly.
Yeah, he wasn't doing
I
that.
find that helpful.
So he goes, and the guy was nice. He goes, well, okay, well, what are you guys looking to get? And then and Ken's like, he looks at me and he goes, what you think, Don? I go, well, just get a quarter or eighth of that. And he goes, okay. Yeah, we'll get that. He just points to one of them that he described, and then he goes, "Oh, okay, cool." The kid was nice.
Yeah,
he did a good job.
Sounds pleasant.
Selling drugs.
He knew his
was
shit.
A nice drug dealer.
A pleasant drug dealer who knew his shit.
He knew his stuff.
Did he offer you?
He
any
was probably from Connecticut.
Yeah,
nice kid,
Sure.
long hair, Grateful Dead shirt.
Did he offer you any Sunny Delight?
No, but this is what he did offer.
Okay.
So once he knew that we decided on a particular shroom. He was going to go back. Like I said, the common theme is him going back to the back room to get something.
Right.
So he was like, you know what? You guys smoke weed? Like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got this. I just got this. I'm going to roll a joint, or you guys want to smoke before we... He was like doing the right thing.
It just sounds like a Muppet.
Yeah, so,
Oh, golly.
And we're like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And so the kid, but he leaves the Tupperware of shrooms on the coffee table, Joe. He leaves.
Oh, boy.
So he leaves his whole supply of all of his shrooms.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah.
All of it. I don't even know the street value of that.
Right.
But it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. Right, Chris? It was a lot. And so he goes, I'm just going to go he was going to get rolling papers and weed.
Yeah. He's like, I'll just leave this here.
Yeah, I'll just leave it there, and then he was probably getting a scaler too to weigh it out, or I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so while this kid's going in the back room, Kendall's so there's like a love seat, like the couch is here. Then Kendall walks and sits across from me, like he wants to look at me. And, so he's walking and now he's looking at me. Have you seen the first Godfather?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Do you know the scene when Michael Corleone goes to the Italian restaurant and shoots those two guys?
Yeah, while they're eating dinner.
Yes.
When the gun's in the back in the
Yes.
Oh no. Where's this story going?
No. So picture Michael Corleone. That I'm telling you, it was like this is the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
Do you it was that vibe.
Yeah.
Where he just shuts down completely. He's not talking to me. He's just looking, before Michael shoots those guys. He's doing that. He's like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
The intense, what's he about to do?
Yeah, he goes to the bathroom and grabs the gun.
Yeah. And I don't know what's about to happen. I'm just nervous. It's unsettling because what he did next, you would never believe.
What did he do?
He ends up grabbing the kids.
All of them?
Joe, all of them.
Oh.
He went like this, got the cover, boom, seals it, puts it under his arm, one of his armpits, like a football, like a goddamn, like he's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like quarterback sneak vibe.
Right. Yeah.
And he beelines, and this is happening. He's not telling me any of it.
Right. Yeah. There's no communication going on
it's
here.
Basically, he's out the door before you even know it.
Right.
This kid has no idea. He's actually just
right. Poor Barney over there grabbing you a joint, whatever his name was.
So he's out the door, and I didn't know what to do, Joe.
Right.
I'm sitting there, and I only have 2 seconds to think. The correct thing to do, the adult thing to do, stay put.
Right.
Wait till nice guy, Grateful Dead hippie student comes out.
Yeah.
And tell him, dude, this guy lost his mind.
Yeah. But we'll get him back. We'll track him down.
But I didn't do that.
No, you didn't. Because you weren't an adult.
I was not an adult. I was a confused college kid who got way too many skateboarding tickets on campus.
Like an after-school special here.
Yeah, so
what not to do.
I'm out the door. There's stairs.
Yeah.
I didn't take the elevator, obviously.
Well, no, you know, sit there and wait.
I'm just boom, 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 boom. You know, I'm like trying to catch up to Kendall.
Yeah.
And then we're like on, like running away from the dorm, like we're hopping fences.
Yeah.
And we used to hang out at this drug house off campus. I don't know. It was like basically a meth house. We
charming.
Kendall met some guy there. He was into rap. I don't know. He was in the same. It was always music. It was the common bond, even though it was like these were deviants. You know, it's like, oh, you like Wu-Tang?
All right,
I like Wu-Tang too, Don. Come on, let's chill. You know, it was like, but then these people, it was like literally like a drug house.
Yeah.
Kendall goes back there. So he goes back there, and I'm like. And it's like, you know, like the best way to describe it is, do you remember as a kid, and this is not even, this is the only kind of like analogy I could think of. Do you remember as a kid when you used to like toilet paper houses?
Yeah.
Or like you would egg a car and run or something? It was that times 10.
Yeah.
It was literally, I was running for my life, it felt like. You know what I'm saying? So we ended up going to this off-campus crack house where all these other lost souls were there. I could refer to them as lost because they were lost.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we get to their apartment, and Kendall, I'm like, what the hell are you doing? He's like, we got him, Don. We got him. And I'm like,
that wasn't the plan.
that wasn't, yeah, exactly. That wasn't.
Don't say that like that was the plan. We got him. We didn't want him.
It was almost like you sucker punch some poor kid without telling anybody. You just sucker punched them. Like, well, that's messed up, dude.
Yeah, we didn't need all of them.
I'm like, just coming to grips at like, what did you just do? You just robbed this poor kid, and you didn't tell me. At least tell me. Because I think he would have known. If he would have told me that, I would have been like, no, absolutely not. I don't want to go there and rob some kid.
Right, that's why I didn't tell you.
Absolutely not. That sounds like a terrible idea. A good idea at all.
Let's be friends with the drug dealer. I'd rather play this
Super Nintendo NBA thing in my room on the Super Nintendo.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll get a pizza later or something, you know?
So this is probably about the time Stuffed Crust came out, too. So you were all about that. 96, so that was a good year for me pizza. Anyway,
a round table. Yeah, I grew up a round table and all that. So I like that stuff.
Yeah.
So now we're at this crack house, and these other people are involved, and then he's trying to brag like, "You guys want shrooms? Yo, Don, we got it." And he ends up taking this guy's whole Tupperware, compartmentalized mushroom supply of shrooms and dumping it. All like it was a table like this.
Yeah.
Like this.
So like Scarface.
Like Scarface.
What was shrooms?
Yeah, Scarface stuff. Behavior. Boom, here you go. And it was like bunch of like all these popcorn kernels all over the coffee. Oh god. The coffee table in this crack house.
Yeah.
And like all the zombies are surrounded now. Like crack fiends. Oh. And this is another thing that you don't do. You don't do any hallucinogenic when there's fear-induced adrenaline.
Yeah.
Right, Joe?
Correct.
In fact, it's the contrary. You're supposed to be at like the Buddhist at peace.
Relax.
There you go. Pound on that.
Exactly.
So that's also another thing to keep in mind. Kids, if you decide to do that, which I don't like shrooms, if you decide to do, you do it. But make sure you're outdoors in nature and you're with good peoples in a Buddhist type peaceful mentality. You don't do it when you just robbed a kid at a different dorm.
Yeah.
And you're like in panic mode.
Well, and the fact that he threw them all on the coffee table.
Chris, will you agree with me with that?
And the fact that he threw them all on the coffee table, now there's all these different kinds, and you don't know what kind of shroom now you're eating.
I don't know what I'm taking. And then this is another thing he does, Joe. He separates it like, okay, this is your pal.
Piles.
Hey, Doc, this is your pal, Doc. Hey, Doc, this is your pal. This is your pal. This is your pal.
Yeah.
And so they used to call me Kwan back there, and Kwangu is my Korean name. Hey, Kwan, this is your pal. I'm like, oh my God. Okay. We just robbed this poor kid, but if you want me to okay. And so let's pause it. Let's pause it on that note. So I ended up looking at my pile. I didn't even think twice about it, Joe. And I ended up just taking the pile like it was like just like a fistful of Skittles, and I just went.
Oh God!
And I just swallowed.
Yeah.
I chewed. And I swallowed it. Sure. It must have been an eighth or something.
Good God.
It was a good amount.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a cap and a stem.
Yeah.
It was like at the movie theater and like before the previews happen and you're like, boom.
Yeah. Full hand.
Full hand of popcorn in your mouth. But this happened to be psilocybin mushrooms.
Right.
And this paranoid-induced state of paranoia. And so... So I did it.
Yeah.
The damage is done.
Yep.
I swallowed the hallucinogenics. I didn't want to hang out there. For some reason, I'm just like, this is not sitting well with me. He decided to stay behind. Kendall, he wanted to hang out with all those people.
Sure. You would not have needed to give an explanation if it were me. I just don't want to sit here in the crack den having just taken mushrooms. I think I'm going to go elsewhere.
The correct thing to do, the right thing to do was to not take the shrooms, walk back to that poor kid's dorm room, explain to what happened, tell them that, not to rat the kids. I don't know, but I made bad choices back then.
Yeah, sure.
And I'll get to it because I'm sober now.
Right.
9 years, going on 10, October 26th. Yeah. So I don't do any drugs or alcohol. Yeah. And I learned, that's why I'm going to get to my point of me deciding to get sober.
Yes.
I go, dude, I'm out of here. I'm like, Kendall, I'm out of here. I'm walking back to my dorm.
Yeah.
So at that point, I didn't live with Kendall. I told you I lived in Saguaro.
Right.
I had my dorm room.
Yes.
So this dorm, let me just describe what this dorm was like.
Okay.
It was single dorm room living, but you had to share, it was community bathrooms and community like shower stalls.
Yeah.
Where it wasn't like this, like in middle school where like you have to get naked and you don't have pubic hair and then this one guy has you're
terrible.
scared for them to see your penis.
Isn't it crazy to think that there was a time where popularity was based on how many pubes you had?
Yeah.
I was not popular.
I wasn't either. By any means. I was the kid running into the shower and then running right out and then just wrapping the towel around my waist.
Yeah.
So these showers, at least you had your own stall where you could close it. And so, and it was the cheapest deal in town as far as residential living. I lived in Saguaro and it was co-ed. So there was cute girl. I mean,
all right.
Cute girl. I mean, not that I talked to any of them.
Well, sure.
I was doing drugstore cowboy Matt Dillon like type behavior back then.
But the idea
Gus
you could
Van
talk
Sant, drugstore cowboy type dealings. I'm giving a lot of older movie references, but you've seen that movie.
Yeah.
Go watch Drugstore Cowboy starring Matt Dillon, directed by Gus Van Sant, and Heather Graham's in it also.
Yeah.
So I was doing more of that type of behavior.
Yeah. Yeah, no time for the rom-com.
Yeah, that was a good movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Love that movie. But before before I reached my dorm, I had to walk across. I mean, there's no way around it. I had to walk. The campus police station was like where I had to walk through the campus police. Tempe campus police station.
Oh, so we're not talking.
I had to walk through it.
We're not talking campus police. This is
this is
Tempe.
This is campus police.
Oh, okay.
But they still can F with you, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah, they can definitely.
You already mentioned how bad they could be.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I'm like, oh God, I have to walk. Okay, I have to go. I don't want to be there. I would rather be alone.
Right.
In my dorm room, away from that, and just realize what the repercussions of that type of behavior. What did I just do?
Right.
So I just remember this though, because I didn't go right away. I hung out for like at least an hour, 45 minutes, and then I decided to leave.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm out of here. But then this is when I started feeling the mushrooms, because I remember like taking a step, on the parking lot of the, and then it was like I would step, and it was like a delayed reaction. I would go step, and it would go whoosh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would step, and it would go whoosh.
I can relate to that.
Right?
Yeah.
So you've done.
I felt that with ecstasy and with weed, with edibles,
So
because I don't do drugs much anymore.
Yeah,
you can feel
edibles,
it.
you could probably.
Oh yeah, it's just like.
How we doing on time? We're good on time. Good. I'm almost there, but there's an aftermath. I wanted to bring it all together.
Sure.
As far as the lessons I learned from these types of behaviors in college. So I got through that, and I'm like, fuck, damn. And I made it to my dorm, God willing, thankfully.
Yeah.
But then when I opened the you had to use your dorm room key to open the main door to the hallway.
Right.
But I remember like looking and like getting to my dorm and looking. It was probably 3 a.m. at this point or something crazy. And I remember opening it, and it reminded me of like. Now I'm feeling the shrooms. And have you seen you've seen The Shining?
Yeah.
It reminded me of The Shining. It was
Okay.
Like, wow.
Just that creepy hall with the kids.
Yeah, without seeing the two, the
without
girl,
the girls,
yeah. In my mind.
Yeah.
It was like, that was going in my head.
Oh no, Steve.
And so I looked down the hallway, and I just went. Even though my room was like near the door, I was for some reason I go. I just closed it to the door to the hallway.
It's not safe right now.
And what was interesting about this dorm is there was like a local public park right next door to it.
Huh.
Literally, like I could walk down the stairs and then walk like 100 meters, and I'm there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna go to that park.
Yeah.
There's probably no one there, obviously.
Peaceful?
Yeah, it's peaceful. There's no one there. There's sand, and there's a sand pit, and there's no one there, and I could just chill there.
Yeah.
Smoke a couple cigarettes and figure out what I had just done.
Right.
So so that's what I decided to do. I decided I didn't go to my dorm right away. I went to the local park near there, near my dorm.
Right.
But while I was there, word had already spread of the robbing of us doing this at Troya dorm.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So back then, especially in the 90s, or at least on that campus, there wasn't a lot of little Asian guys skateboarding everywhere on campus with like blonde highlights in their hair. Well, whatever I was going through at that time. So somehow some kid knew. Some other kid, word spread in their dorm like a brush fire.
Yeah.
So, and you're not supposed to do this, but somehow, some way, something like this happened. Yeah, I know where that one kid lives, the little Asian guy. He lives at this dorm.
Oh boy! So now you're on the run.
So, but I didn't know
you
I was
don't know it, right?
Joe,
Yeah.
I didn't know I was on
Unbeknownst
the run.
to
But
you.
I happened to be not in my dorm room.
It actually paid off that you were on shrooms.
Exactly.
The creepy hallway.
Well, it paid off during that.
Well, at that moment, yeah.
During the 30 minutes of what was bound to happen.
Sure. Yeah.
So, 3 kids. I mean, I found this out after they came to my dorm with Louisville slug with baseball bats. With bats.
Was one of these the nice drug dealer?
Yeah, it was but
he's not so nice now.
He's not so nice.
No.
He's not so. He's not
Nor
like.
should he be?
He's not like that. He's like, what the fuck are
Fuck
drugs? So him, 2 of his other guy, big guy,
dudes.
dudes
Yeah,
with
whatever.
baseball bats.
Yeah.
They go to the front desk at the dorm and saying, and then they weren't supposed to, Joe, they weren't supposed to do this, Joe. They gave out my exact room location.
The front desk person did?
The front desk
I was going to
person
say.
said, oh, yeah.
Yes, 3 gentlemen with baseball bats.
He's in C4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What?
section. He's on the 3rd level on this dorm room at the end.
Front desk should have been shot.
Exactly my location.
Wow.
And I didn't figure that out till like, cause that that stuff because they were probably using hit, and they disrupted other residents, and they went out, peeked down the hallway saying, "Oh my God, there's 3 guys with baseball bats outside of Steve's dorm room." Right?
I cannot believe that the front desk person was just like, sure. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Could you leave your bats at the, nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, come on in.
Oh no, that's a normal thing for someone to come over to your dorm room at 3:15 a.m. pounding on your dorm room.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Okay, so the story doesn't end there.
Oh, no.
Joe, it doesn't end there.
Right. Because as far as the last we checked in with you, you're at a park now. Right?
Yeah, I'm at a park.
Okay.
And thank God I decided to do that. Yeah. I would have got jumped that night.
Oh, of course.
Let's not get it twisted. I
No.
would have got
you. I would have deserved it.
Yeah, I would have. And we would have rightfully so deserved every hit from those Louisville Sluggers on my head.
Well, more so Kendall, but accomplice.
Thank you, Joe.
Yes.
And I want to get to how unfair the story ends up being.
Okay.
Thank you, Joe.
You're quite welcome.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yes. Yeah.
Because this is what happens. You would not believe it.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Let me just
Sure.
Because it's like I have to really put myself back in my shoes back then.
Yeah.
So I avoided them for a good. I mean, nothing happened like right away. Like they didn't come back to my dorm room.
Yeah.
I was, to be honest with you, I was kind of not hanging out at my dorm. I was like my other homies, because Kendall wasn't my only friend. I had skateboarding homies.
Yeah.
I'd go there, drink 40s, skateboard, watch skate videos.
Right.
The latest 411 or whatever, we would be watching skate videos.
Yeah.
I'd be hanging out with them or something, not with Kendall. Rightfully so, I was resentful towards Kendall.
Yes.
I was like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
What in your right mind thought that was a great idea? It wasn't.
No.
Okay, so like about a month goes by, or a half,
wow.
like at least 2 or 3 weeks goes by, and I end up, out of all places, I ended up going to a normal off-campus keg party.
Okay.
I thought I was in the clear.
Sure.
I'm nowhere.
Public place.
It was off campus. It was some random keg party at let's say there's a place called the Commons on Lem. It was like at some camp. It was it was like a dorm, but it was at an apartment complex.
Yeah.
And I was there.
Yeah.
And I was not even with Kendall at that point. I wasn't even hanging out with him at this moment. I was with this other kid, this Native American kid, my homie Dustin's friend. He was I know he was a graffiti. He was into graffiti and tagging.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't hanging out with him. He's either in rap music or like artist or skateboarder or a graffiti artist. You know what I mean? They weren't like your grade A scholars.
All right.
I was hanging out with this kid. And I just remember I did have a case of Budweiser's cans.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I had with me.
Sure.
So I just roll up to this party.
Yeah.
And it was like a normal, typical off-campus party. And this white kid just normal kid, comes up to me and goes, "Hey, can I get one of those beers, man?" I go, "Yeah, sure. Here you go."
Yeah.
I was, I had a lot of beers.
Right.
So he goes, "Cool." And then like maybe 30, 40 minutes goes by. I'm pretty kind of buzzed by now.
Right.
And then I heard from the grapevine, like, oh, they're about to roll a blunt upstairs in this kid's room. Rufio told me or something. Or Rufus. His name was Rufus. The kid I was with, Rufus.
I would prefer his name to be Rufio.
Yeah, from a hook.
Yeah, exactly.
I just thought a hook.
Yeah.
No, it was Rufus.
Okay.
Not
right.
Rufio, Rufus.
All right. Still good.
So I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, I want to smoke weed. Back then, I was a pothead.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, yeah. So I ended up going up there in some kid's room, and before you know it, 3, 4 of them, it felt like 5.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, like a wolf pack.
Yeah.
They just felt this.
Yeah, grab your
Like
throat.
several.
Yeah, several
Like
hands
this.
on your throat.
And then boom to the wall.
Woo!
And they're like, you're the one that stole the shroom from so-and-so. And I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh,
That'd
no.
be terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
fuck.
I'm literally like getting propelled like, your typical bully scenario, getting
Right.
like a kid getting bullied in the bathroom, the boys' bathroom for his lunch money, but they had a reason this time.
Yes.
They definitely had a reason.
Especially from their vantage
like-
point, because you didn't stay to explain that you weren't involved with it.
Exactly.
So all they
And
know is that you were an accomplice.
And I'll get into this because Kendall wasn't at the party
God damn it, Kendall.
because you asked about him.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
wasn't there.
No, of course
I
not.
was there with this other random kid. Okay, Joe?
Yes.
So this is happening, and
Right.
and so I'm like going like this, like trying to look for Rufus.
Right.
Like, can you help me?
Yeah.
You know what ended up happening?
What?
He looked away from me.
Ooh.
He looked away from me.
Ooh. Okay.
He looked away from me. He looked and went.
Oh, wow.
So
So that was the end of that friendship. So you and Rufus were not friends after that.
So not only was I petrified, and I'm thinking, I'm on my own.
No, there's no backup.
I'm on my own.
Yes.
I'm the lone wolf.
If they want to kill me, then I'm going to be dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so while this chaos was happening in this kid's room,
Right.
the kid's room who we were in, he comes up, hey guys, take it outside, man. This is my room.
They didn't even have the common courtesy to tell the kid, hey, we're going to kill somebody in your room tonight. Yeah.
So,
Thank God for that kid.
so it was like, I mean, it wasn't this harsh, but I'm trying to think of a funny analogy. Like doing your walk to the electric chair or something.
Yeah,
I knew
yeah.
I was doomed.
The Green Mile.
I knew the Green Mile. I knew there was no way out of it.
Yeah,
Joe.
yeah.
There was
Right.
there was no way out.
Nope.
We're upstairs, and I remember having this feeling of helplessness,
marching
where I
through
was
the
just
party.
this kind of overwhelming fear of being the wounded bird. Like, oh no.
Yeah.
But I was just remember walking by the third to the last step to the bottom. Someone hit me and boom in the
Oh.
back of the head, like
Oh,
hard,
okay.
but with a flush fist, like boom.
Yeah.
And it like I was seeing like the stars.
Right.
I was like boom, and I was like, I was disoriented.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, I was on the ground.
Right.
And then, dude, by this time, there was more, I don't know why this happens, but when a fight or a beating happens, like people, like World Star.
Right.
But back then, there was no World Star.
No.
But it was that kind of World Star moment.
Yeah, yeah.
World Star. And it was a legion
Yeah.
of people that
Oh,
wanted to be.
man.
It was not just one. Now it's a legion.
Yeah, well, because now if you're outside, there's just people like beating the shit out of
And-
people. We're like, oh, let me get a punch in.
Yeah, I don't like this kid now, too.
Yeah, fuck him.
So a legion, if you look it up, it's of many. It's like
Yeah.
it's one used in biblical terms.
Yeah.
As, we are of many,
Yeah.
right? Legion of many.
Yeah.
So I'm it's like your typical take it outside. So we really could have some room to beat this kid down. And so they literally formed a circle. Man. Like wolf pack.
Now at this point, I mean, are your wrestling instincts kicking in?
That's good. That's you know what? You're bringing up you're very intuitive, Joe. I like
you.
what you're doing.
I have my moments.
Because that's what kind of saved me.
Yeah, I would imagine. Like at this point.
Because although let's not get it twisted, I did get beat down.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, just by the numbers.
Because it was literally so I'm in
12
this,
on 1.
Yeah, it was 12 on 1, and I was literally there was a circle.
Right.
So even if I tried to escape, they would push
you
me
back.
in.
Right. Yeah.
And it was like a scene in a movie.
Yeah.
It literally was a scene in like kids.
Yeah.
Like what's the kid like Larry Clark? He should have been there. Was it Larry Clark, the director? Whatever. He should have been there filming all this. It
Yeah.
would have been Kids Part 2, the Southwest edition.
Oh, Kids. Yeah.
Kids.
Right. Yeah.
You
I was thinking of the original.
Southwest edition in Arizona.
You said it's reminded me of like the original Karate Kid.
No,
like with
Kids,
all
the movie about
I know,
the New York skaters. Leo Fitzpatrick was.
But these 12 people might as well be wearing skeleton costumes.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, with Johnny.
Yeah.
With Ralph.
Johnny!
With Ralph Macchio.
Sweep the
Yeah,
leg.
sweep the leg. But
Anyway.
so it was like
So you're getting the shit kicked out of you.
the climatic part of the story is I was getting, people were hitting me, throwing me back in, and then they like held me like still from the back, and then through the middle, like it was the kid and his roommate or someone who like showed themselves,
Yeah.
like they presented them.
Yeah.
And then he goes, "Remember me?"
Oh.
And then it was either him or his friend, like cocked back,
Just cold
and
cocks you.
cold cocks me right in the nose.
God.
I got a bloody. It didn't break my nose, but I got a bloody nose. I'm like,
Yeah. Oh, man.
It's like a scene in a movie.
fucking Kendall.
Yeah, Kendall. And so,
God.
and then you ask me about my wrestling
Yeah.
instincts, because if it wasn't for that. Because I was now at this point, I'm like fighting for my life.
Right.
I was
Well,
like
yeah.
trying to get out of this Wolfpack
Right.
circle. Thank God I forgot this kid's name, but he was there at the party and he actually liked me.
Yeah.
Because and he was like, I somehow ended up wrestling or grappling my way out,
Yeah.
like for a brief second, and I saw him. And I beeline to him. He goes, "Follow me, dude!" And then I ran to his car because he lived at the dorm. At this point, I live with Kendall now. I didn't live at
Right.
Saguaro because it was like a month later, and I
Yeah.
moved out with Kendall. So I ended up going to Ocotillo, and Kendall was there with other homies
Sure.
of his. And I just said he saw. I got and I go. He go, "What happened, Don? What? I got jumped."
Yeah.
Look what
Because
happened.
you stole an entire box
Look
of
what happened.
mushrooms.
Joe, like, look what happened to me. And it was like another scene in the movie, like, "Oh, let's go get him." No, hell no. Let's go get him. Like, you know what? At this point, no. The damage is no.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Right.
And so those are my two stories.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. But there's a message. Because I told you before that I'm clean and sober.
Yeah.
And there's reasons behind, the reason why I decided the decision I made. I mean, there's more involved because I didn't get sober then and there.
Right.
But I was introduced to this 12-step program, which allowed me to at least see that there's a different way to live.
Right.
So, those are just examples of unmanageability is what they would call it.
Right.
Like as far as the groups that I attend, it's my life was so unmanageable and so chaotic with those types of experiences. Because here you go. I mean, a lot of college kids, or most college kids, you would think would do the opposite. They would go to study group, they go to school, they would do, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like they would do the right thing. They're there for a purpose. They
Right.
want to get an education. They want to get a degree.
Sure.
They want to, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't doing any of those things. And it allowed me those types of incidents. I mean, those two specifically, like when I was deciding, because October 26th this month, I'll have 10 years clean and sober.
Okay. So it's coming up.
So it's coming up. And so it allowed me to really shape my life the way it is now, because I'm, I drink coffee, that's as much as I'll do.
Right. Caffeine.
Yeah. Well, it helps me just get up, you know, but
sure.
I'm not gonna like, and on top of that, I see a therapist weekly.
Great.
So not only am I clean and sober, and I've learned from, that was a long time ago that I
Right.
did those things. And I, to be honest with you, I probably owe a lot of those people, like, because I caused a lot of wreckage back then. I probably owe them an apology of my behavior from those days. Like, dude, I'm so sorry. I don't do that anymore. Is there anything I could do to what could I do to make it better?
Yeah.
So, I don't do any of that stuff. I don't steal. I don't do drugs. I don't even smoke weed or, any of that. Not saying that I'm not against it. I think there's a lot of people that lead like healthy lives. A lot of it balances them out. But with me, I didn't mix well with me.
Right.
Because with that, it's like I would have to have a beer. You know what I mean? I couldn't do
your
one
limitations.
Yeah, or I couldn't do one without the other.
Right,
It was all hand in hand.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's more incidents that led up to me deciding to get sober.
Yeah.
But those are two major ones that happened in my life that rightfully so. I mean, I think that I made a great decision. I mean, to be honest with you, getting clean and sober was probably one, if not number one of the best decisions that I've ever made in my whole life.
Yeah.
I mean, now, right, Chris? I mean, now my life, it's like I have my own podcast going.
Yeah.
I'm, and this is another, if you don't mind, and I'll end it shortly, but because this is the conclusion and this is what resolved of it and the lessons learned from these two stories of before, because I tried to write raps, music, not just rap, but just create music back then. But I always needed weed to create or to make beats or to do any of this stuff. But now I had to relearn and reshape the way I go about creating. And now I've learned where I don't need any of it.
Right.
And it was very difficult for me because I was the type of artist where I thought I needed that to like, I needed that to not only, the edge, to take the edge off, but I needed it to have the patience to create as well as listening it's like on some Pink Floyd The Wall shit, where like, oh my God, like I could really hear, like, oh, did you hear that sound? Oh, I need weed to really get that, to capture that. Oh, because I wouldn't be able to hear that otherwise,
right.
So like I had to unlearn that aspect of creating. Like, I guess it's like maybe a painter learning to paint with his left hand when he's right-handed or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like I had I'm at that point in my life, like, because I'm just finishing up a solo. It's not a rap album because I play the piano in it.
Oh, great!
There's punk stuff in it too.
Yeah.
There is rapping involved, but it's called Collage of the Mirage.
Nice.
Is that okay for mentioning that?
Of course.
Yeah. So that's that's going to be on my Bandcamp, and then at the end I'll plug that. But yeah, that's just I'm at a point now as far as creating where I don't think I need any of that stuff.
No.
I think me is good enough.
Yeah, and it's not easy to get to that point, It takes time.
A lot of people, because they say, a lot of people, they say weed's not physically addicting, but it could be psychologically addicting.
Yeah, I've always sort of said that it may not be chemically addicted, but you can get addicted to how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
I've
seen I'm not going to mention any names, but I've seen certain people where they're unable to function without it, or they get irritable. Right. Let's say they get irritable if it's not around. They're okay for a certain amount, but a day or two passes, then they get more. They grow more irritable and discontent with how they're feeling or whatever.
Yeah.
So but I've chose not to do any of that, and man, I don't. Yeah, I learned from it. And what's ironic is, I didn't even tell you this. I'm like really fast forwarding it to like the present day. But back then, I was forced to, if you have me back on, I have so many ASU stories and stuff. But it's like, I was forced to go to AA on campus at this church because, I knocked on some girl's dorm room like at 3 or 4 in the morning, and I freaked her out, and she reported me to the RA. Yeah. So I had to like go. It was a mandatory. Yeah. That I had to like, okay, we'll keep you in the residential living if and only you do this every noon, and this RA is going to walk you across campus to go to these 12-step meetings. Mm-hmm. I just didn't get it. I wasn't ready back then.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Joe, I was not ready back then because I remember that when I went into the church, I forgot where it was, but it was like all older, Right. I'm the older dude now, but back then it was just all, there's no, even though it was on college campus, there was no college kids in there. No, dude,
because
so
for the most part, at that age, you're just like, but this is the time where I can do this stuff. That's fine. I'll get it figured out later. And, and I mean, and also to be fair, like I think most college students party on some level. You just took it to like the nth degree,
I mean, you bring up some very good points. You do a good job, man.
Well,
like he says the right things, at the right time. Yeah, you are completely correct. And if I were to go in a time machine, as far as the precursor to my decision of going to Arizona State, to be honest, I probably would have taken some time off and not even gone to college.
Sure.
Because I would have saved money. Because to be honest with you, I ended up with some kind of degree, but I don't even know what the degree's in right now.
Right. Yeah.
They had to create something. I was there for so long. It was kind of like the best way to describe. I know I've brought up like 10 movie analogies.
Sure.
It was like Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
With Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Groundhog Day. Same thing every day. Have you seen that movie? Great movie, by the way. Great movie. Love the movie.
It's a great concept. It's been copied.
It was
many
like
times.
Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
And so for those kids who are watching this and you just graduated from high school and you feel like you're getting pressured to go to school, it's your life. You don't necessarily have to go.
Just take a minute.
You could take a minute.
Like,
you know what I'm saying? Look, work a job. Go to community college. Save some money.
Yeah.
Get your basic education figured out.
Yep.
Then, if you want to go to art school, go to art school. If you want to learn how to be this, do that. Be an architect. You don't have to do any of it.
exactly.
I would have really done that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Just wait until you know what you want to do before you start spending at least $50,000 a year.
And that's so crazy you brought that up too.
Yeah.
Because the reasons why my parents moved to Arizona is to get that in-state tuition
Right.
fee.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah.
You know what's weird? And I just thought of this now. If I would have done that, what are you laughing at, Chris? No, just coming up with a revelation now. If I had decided not to go there, it would have reshaped. Because my parents are still in Arizona.
Right.
They could still be in San Diego or, oh my God.
It's crazy.
So that goes to show just one decision
Right.
that you make in your life can alter the trajectory of like where your life goes ultimately, really.
Yeah.
So I want to keep it, I want to end it on a positive note. So that
sure.
I got sober eventually.
Yeah.
I know it took a while, but I ended up getting it. So
And that's all that matters.
I want to come back though. I got more.
Yeah, well, I want to
stories.
have you back. Yeah, and
I
I'm
have
happy.
more stories.
Well, yeah, I'm glad that that you're sober now and have been. And so, what's the what do you got going on that people should know about? I know you said your album.
Yeah, so I have my own podcast, and I'm going to get to that. But I'm working on a music album. Which there's rapping involved. I take a lot of influence from like the Beastie Boys and the Far Side, and like Rage Against the Machine. But I also like take a lot of influence from like there's punk influence. There's piano like Daniel Johnston influence. So I wanted to do a project where I incorporate all of that, and it's like bits and pieces of like different things that I like about music, and it's going to be available on my Bandcamp at steebeeweebee.bandcamp.com. That's Steebeeweebee steebeeweebee.bandcamp.com. And then I have like 10 other albums on there too.
Oh, great.
So they could check that out. If you want to donate, you could donate. But I just like, I know my motivation is not to get, I know I'm not going to get rich off music. It's just something, I like the sense of completion of actually thinking it's like a painter finishing a painting.
Yeah,
or something.
totally.
So I'm not, with the state of where music's at now, I'm not, me and Chris talked about that. Like, I'm not trying to be the next mumble rapper.
Thank God.
Yeah. So I'm not doing that. I'm just creating something that, and I did it completely sober, but I'm using the same sampler that I've always used, the Boss SP303 on a lot of the hip hop beats, a lot of the loops and stuff that I still use that.
Yeah.
It's not professionally mixed and mastered either. I did it on GarageBand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And you're proud of it.
I don't even have a mic.
Yeah.
On it, because I didn't know that. Because I'm new to this using your computer to record, even though it's 2018.
Yeah.
I'm used to using like 4 tracks and 8-track machines.
Yeah.
Where I just handheld mic into like a burner.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know that. Oh, you could have a USB converter audio box that goes into Pro Tools, or
It's crazy how accessible and easy it is to do
but
this
I
stuff, but you
didn't know.
about
So
it, right?
I'm actually rapping and singing into my computer without a mic. I'm like,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah.
So I have that, and I have my own podcast / show called the Steebee Weebee Show, which I want you to be a guest.
I'd love
and
to.
Chris was working for some time as a producer, editor on it.
For sure.
And so it's called that's at www.youtube.com/Steebee Weebee, the same as my Bandcamp.
Right, yeah.
So it's a weekly thing I do. I interview similar to this. I like your platform though because it focuses on stories.
Yeah.
I mainly focus on them and their creative outlets as far as if they're a comic, like where they get their process, how they come up with jokes. If they're a skateboarder, what influences what other skateboarders have influenced them.
Sure.
If they're art, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I've had comedians, I've had street artists, I've had normal artists, I've had pro skaters.
I saw you just had Eric Griffin on, right?
Eric
From
Griffin,
Workaholics
yeah. And I play video games with him too.
Oh, no, right on.
Side,
yeah.
So yeah,
He's
Workaholics,
great.
yeah.
I just saw him at the Improv the other night, and he was
we play video
hilarious.
games together.
That's cool.
So that's that, and then those are the two major ones. And I'm also in a band with Money Mark and Dave Cho, the street artist Dave Cho, called Mongchi. If you want to go to mongchi.com, I haven't really plugged that. We're kind of like in a hiatus point right now, but so I'm mainly just focusing on my podcast / YouTube show and then my album right now. And then I want to eventually start performing. I just, I want to finish the material first and then eventually come up with some kind of, show. Yeah. Like live show.
Sure.
So
that sounds
great. And I also
great.
do a puppet show called Little Ray's World at the end of the Steebee Weebee show, where it's like I do a puppet show with popsicle puppets.
I love
where
it.
It's a cowboy character stuck in going back to like a different dimension.
Yeah.
So he's stuck out there with a robot, like his R2D2 character, and I come up with songs like cowboy type songs.
Yeah. Okay.
With it's a puppet show at the end of the normal show.
Okay.
So there's a lot going on, and I want to eventually when I do my live show is bring Little Ray to life.
Yeah.
Where Little Ray is opening up for Steebee Weebee. Where you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where it's kind of like like two. You could get 2 for 1.
It'd be funny if you opened up for Little Ray. And
No,
his
Little Ray
show
opened-
was only
Yeah.
His show was only 3 minutes. You were the opening act for an hour and a half, and then he's the headliner, and he only goes for 3 minutes, so then he's done.
That's actually, dude. This he has good ideas. You have you have good insight, man. You do, you really do. I was actually, ironically, I was thinking of it the other way.
Sure,
I thought, Little Ray could open up for me.
Yeah.
And then I could come up with there's so many possibilities as far as props. I could, come up with a robot or something, like beep his robot. You know what I'm saying? And it could be more theatrical, like it's a play.
Yeah.
And then he'll be, all right, man, stay tuned, man. Coming up is, I never heard of him before. Steebee, I don't know, man. Stay tuned in 5 minutes, Steebee Weebee, man. And then so it's like costume change,
Yeah.
something like that. But I'm already kind of thinking along those lines as like how to make it more interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long was that? This?
Just about an hour 45. So I'd say we're good, my friend. Well, thank you for coming on.
And your dog didn't bark.
The dog didn't bark.
Yeah. Did you have a good time? I mean, did this, Chris, are you satisfied?
I think I did see a cockroach scurry by. So I'm
no.
worried about that.
Oh, can I give you a story of how to get rid of them?
Please.
So I had a very bad cockroach problem when I lived off Hollywood Boulevard in Whitley.
Oh, yes.
Man, when I moved in there, this was early 2000, like when the landlord lady showed me the place.
Yeah.
I was looking at the apartment and there was a cockroach that went by and she like killed it right in front of me. Like she didn't like she didn't think I saw it.
Right.
She went like this, killed it, And I go, what is that? She goes, oh, that's nothing. That's nothing. And I'm like,
Really?
But I ended up, lo and behold, I moved in and there was a lead, like a lot.
Oh, God.
But then I tried everything Raid. I tried all the sprays at like CVS. But it's not until I went to Chinatown in LA.
Yeah.
They sell this chalk.
Okay.
It's called the Miraculous Insecticide Chalk. And it looks like a bubblegum wrapper.
Yeah.
With a like a cockroach like crossed out.
Yeah.
50 cents a pop. And let me tell you, Joe, I am not lying. I wrote it. I put it up in my apartment. It killed everything.
Wow.
I mean, they were gone.
Wow.
Because there's a science behind it. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not a roach repellent.
Scientist.
I'm not a roach repellent expert.
Sure.
But I think what happens is like they go across the white chalk and they bring it back to the nest or something.
Yeah.
And it kills all of the roach babies.
Okay. Well, I may be heading to Chinatown.
Yeah, so get that. I'm telling you, it'll be
This
a
is the
great
first one
investment.
I've ever seen in this apartment. But I'm going to get some now just in case there's more.
So this chalk, you could literally just draw it like you could draw it underneath here. It's white.
Yeah. Oh,
It comes off.
Yeah.
It's just not a spray. It's not harmful.
Okay.
And it does the job.
All right.
Good enough?
It does the job. We did the job today. This was Steebee Weebee. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I like to come back on. I got more stories.
This is to be continued.
I got more stories, okay?
To be continued.
Cool.
All right.
That was the episode. Thanks again to Steve for coming over and sharing some truly shitty times that I guess had a good impact in the grand scheme of things on his life. If you enjoyed the episode, please give us that 5-star rating on iTunes. It means a lot. Check out badtimesgoodstoriespod.com for past episodes, merch, and Patreon. Email me at badtimesgoodstoriespodcast@gmail.com. And definitely check out the Steebee Weebee Show. That's STEEBEEBEEBEE Steebee Weebee. If I can't spell, then hopefully you can. And you can check that out. He posts videos and episodes every week. Great guy, great time. And that's all I've got for this week. So until next Wednesday, keep laughing.